Gang, we have had 2 absolutely exceptional days shooting at the Formula E in Rome. But now I've got a problem, because I want to go out and shoot street photography. I want to have a bit of me time. And I want to try and take one good photo, one actually good photo at every single landmark around Rome. We've got a couple of problems. Firstly, it's hot.
The kind of heat that you don't really want to be outside in.
And not only that, my flight leaves at 9 o'clock tonight. And so I don't have that long to actually get around.
So here's my plan. We're going to do 2 laps of Rome with the sun always on our subjects, starting from the Colosseum, past the Forum, towards the Pantheon, probably via Trevi and Castle San Angelo, and then across to the Vatican. Have a quick midday nap, and then back to it in reverse order with the Spanish Steps chucked in there somewhere. Fly home, and then be cold. So we're nearly at our first location, the Colosseum, and it's always important to think about the stories that you want to tell. This then primes our brains to start thinking about how do we tell those stories. And so here, it's still early, and there's probably going to be lots of tourists taking photos. There's going to be tourists taking photos everywhere. So I want to try and get a local doing local things. Kick things off with some warm-up shots at this cool-looking crossing, to then spin around and shoot this guy who was preparing for the rain, and then we found our first subject that fits the vision. So I really like this scene here. We've got these like yellow zebra crossings, which kind of match the colour of this, and we've obviously got this traffic light over here. When you get slightly lower, the light coming from across here creates really nice silhouettes against these backdrops. I really love this girl sitting down over here because the colour of her blue top contrasts all of the rest of the colours in the scene. And then the perfect subject, but I was too busy messing around with probably my camera settings, and then I missed focus and missed my composition. And then boom, a great underrated subject, because I didn't think of this beforehand. But this guy's job is definitely underappreciated. Gang, I am definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I've got some pretty good photos, but I know I can definitely get a banger because the light is starting to move around. It's going to come through these arches and create silhouettes down here. And I really want to stay here, but I think that it's going to be better to head into town and then get those beautiful pockets of light that usually start popping up between about 8 AM and 9 AM. So I think I'm going to risk it and hopefully not regret my decision. You can see now we are walking with a light. Our subjects are all illuminated fully against a dark background. And this is great for creating separation. This allows us to make our subjects very clean and clear in our frames. Does this remind you of anything? So Fat and Ho made that iconic photo in the darkroom. He didn't actually shoot it in camera. But I think it's going to be worth the wait, because I know that that shadow is gradually getting lower and lower as the sun gets higher in the sky. If you find a spot that you're like, I think this is going to be it, consider as many different things as you can. The height at which you want to take the photo, where you want your subject to be, which direction they want to be in, what kind of subject that you want. And the more things you can consider, the more likely you are to get the photo. So now is the time to concentrate because the light is nearly there. I think that this wide shot shows the whole frame. You've got light on dark, you've got obviously that shadow, you've got that silhouetted. So if we can get someone in the light here and in the light here to somehow complement each other, that is the photo. Let's hope and pray, and well, we're in the place of the gods, so. I got this beautiful side light kissing the trees against the dark shadow. Although I said the wider composition was the best, I felt like I had to crop in because there was a lot of messy elements with people that were very distracting in the frame. We've got this family walking, but again, they don't have anything particularly interesting going on. And this would have been an absolute banger, but the light wasn't quite on the corner, and I didn't feel like faking it. Gang, although it wasn't meant to be, I want someone to take this photo because this photo is going to be sick. It is currently 9:15, so get here for about 8:20, so you can scout the scene, so you can figure out where everything is, and take this photo because I want to see it. Right, we need to get back on track because we've only partially completed one landmark and it is getting hot. And thankfully, on our way to our second stop, we made some friends and we saw some lovely tanned feet. And that's when I noticed that something was up. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but my camera is getting unusually hot, and it's by where the battery and the SD card is. The heat here is honestly starting to get a little too much, but gotta get it done. We've got a challenge on our hands. I started with some more obvious shots telling the story of what it's like to visit Rome in the middle of July, as well as a standard shot of some religious folk, as well as a bloke having a smoke, but I wanted to capture some smaller stories. And I loved this Biggie Smalls t-shirt staring right back at us. But my favourite from here was the most succulent Italian delicacy. Prized cornflakes. This camera is getting so hot. Like, I've never had a camera get this hot, so I am slightly concerned that I'm gonna fry something. I felt the same as the camera, so I dived into some side streets to get out the sun and headed to our next location. And en route, we caught some daytime nappers, generational twins, lost tourists, and a new age pirate. And although we were on challenge, I am never going to miss an opportunity to get a banger, and nearly broke both my knees manifesting someone with an ice cream. But this is all I got. Somewhere along today, I managed to ding my lens right here. Can't quite see it. But now instead of it being a £5,000 lens, it's now maybe like, what, 40, 50 quid? I've just realised that I am being a basic bitch. I've got the perfectly symmetrical shot standing here facing Hadrian's tomb. But if a bunch of tourists on their phones are taking the exact same photo, is it going to be an actually good photo? I don't think so. And the goal today is to take actually good photos. So it's time to be creative, it's time to think slightly outside of the box and to experiment. Because that is the goal as photographers, is to not take the easy option, but to get better and better. And we do that by pushing ourselves. After this pep talk, I got one very standard photo, and then nada. For the next 10 minutes, not a single meh photo came to me. This challenge is much harder than I thought it was going to be. The light is super hard, much earlier than I thought it was going to be. And so if you look here, I've got really hard shadows all across my face. And that is not particularly aesthetic for photos. I'm now starting to kind of struggle. So maybe, do I switch to black and white? Don't really know what to do. And then it got even harder. I thought I was going to get 2 full laps. One going with the sun on the back of my neck towards the Vatican, and then one doing the opposite in the evening to get, hopefully, 2 good sets of light. But it turns out I need to be out here at 5:30. We are now in my favourite place in Rome, the Vatican. And we don't have that much time to shoot here because I need to go and check out my hotel. I'm hoping to get maybe, could be cliche, but someone in religious clothing to help really set the scene here. Or maybe the exact opposite, someone who's in like full football kit or something. Again, don't have much time, so let's get to it. We got a silhouette of some less than religious clothes. We've got some celebrity nuns and a tour guide who is making friends. But I started to feel real bad and needed shade. I haven't got a good photo in the Vatican yet, and I need to go back to the hotel, which is about a 40-minute walk, and I need to check out in about half an hour. So that is going to be a fun little game. But yeah, the light here is so harsh, and the only competitions I can get that actually look good, I need to be standing in the light. And honestly, I'm struggling, my camera's struggling, everything's struggling. So I think I'm going to need to come back here.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
Okay, change of plan. From our hotel, we're now going straight to the Spanish Steps. And on our commute, we got a side-eye delivery man, another matching family tree, Ferrari paying, good cop, bad cop, and a man telling me to get lost. Now the question is, do I walk up there in the seat, or do I try and get something down here and branch with some people? Obviously, we went up. There was a goal to achieve. Maybe we need to go for like a top-down or something, trying to get interesting perspective and just wait for the right subject so we can time it properly. But this is unbearable, man. We got a bang average top down and a forgettable tourist pose before my heart sank. Oh my god, gang. That might be it. I thought, challenge over. It's not working properly. It's honestly turning itself off. And then the gods of aperture blessed me. Gang, I am so thankful. It's back working. And I think that I'm going to have to keep on just removing the battery and putting it back in, turning the camera on when I think a moment is about to happen. That's hard because like my style is to be reactive and to capture moments, and this is really putting the spanner in the works. Why am I doing this? Gang, see that? That is probably why this is suffering. I need to get my pale ass back into shape. So I went down to the fountain to get some secondhand splash and got a pretty good shot of this guy dunking his head in the water, spraying it everywhere with some cool reflections in his glasses. So off to the Vatican now, finished at the Spanish Steps. I think we've got a pretty good photo. The light is starting to work in our favour. It's starting to, if you look here, the shadow's starting to come across again. So it means we're getting more directional light, which is what we want, and I'm feeling optimistic. You know what? It might actually be a good thing that I have to walk around with the camera, or the battery out of the camera, because it's making me have to scan further ahead to then see interesting, or to notice interesting people, to then get ready. And it's so important to look further ahead than your immediate vicinity, because then you are able to prepare your shot and you're able to think about it. Even 5 seconds longer can make or break a photo opportunity. I had to come back to the Vatican to save my dignity as a photographer, and en route I got this snapshot of a nun and this fashionista ×2. I decided to stop messing around to risk it by going Route 1 straight into St. Peter's Basilica. Oh my god, look at this light. That is absolutely incredible. This building is insane. And so this light that's streaking down, it's creating these patches over here. And I think that if we wait maybe like 15 minutes, half an hour, this patch of light to move around, so it's like here. So we'll have 1, 2, and then the third one that's coming down there will be over there. We are going to get the most beautiful light I think I've ever seen. And whilst I waited for this patch of light to trickle round, I practiced messing around with some minimal compositions, placing my subjects in the light against the dark, which is one of my favourite principles in Street Tours Volume 1, which you can get in the description. As the sun finally moved round to its final position, I had 2 of the most incredible photo opportunities I have ever had. I think we've got the Vatican photo. This one was more story focused, and this one more compositionally focused. Comment below which you think is better and why. I had to sprint to Trevi to bang out these photos, so I didn't have time to record anything. But here's some of my favourite shots. We've got lots of matching gestures. We've got Dan Baker inspired upside down cones, religious mathematics, same but different, a meat sarnie, accidental renaissance, before I sprinted back to the hotel and then got a few extra shots en route. I reckon that these are the best shots from the day. And I would love to know your thoughts, whether you agree, whether you think that there's a different photo that's even better. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this one, and see you in the next one. Peace!